Hello, my name is Brayanoski.
And I'm Austin Morales, and you're watching The Internet Gamer On.
And today we're talking about how The Division is going free to play with a new game called The Division Heartland. Is this the end of The Division? What does this mean for the future of The Division? Or will this be like a new turning point for The Division? Are we excited? I don't know. Let's find out. Let's jump in. I hope you're excited because we're excited to talk about this right now. Lots of deep content here. Here we go.
And as always, if you enjoyed this content, please like, subscribe, and bang that bell, because you know you want to. Thank you.
A little backstory to what's going on here. I played The Division. Austin's played The Division. Austin's a big fan of The Division, actually.
Yeah, I liked it.
I like it, but I haven't played enough of it to really like it.
And you said that you would go back.
I would, yeah. If y'all were starting from zero and we played together.
From zero.
All right, let's do it. Let's do it.
Are you sure?
Yeah, let's start next week.
Hey, I will do it. Like, seriously, I will do it.
I'm down. Can we get Travis involved too? Do you think he'd be down?
Do it. Yeah, no. Travis is not going to do that.
Oh my gosh.
Travis is a little bitch. That's right. You heard it here first, Travis.
It's funny because that's what I was thinking too. Anyway, so Tom Clancy's The Division on May 6th of 2021, which was like 10 days ago, the Ubisoft announced that they are working on expanding the Division universe. So reading some highlights here, they said that when they launched in 2016, the team at Ubisoft Massive and all their studios around the world had high ambitions for what was the first completely original IP under the Tom Clancy umbrella since 2019. It was an ambitious game, unlike anything they'd ever produced before. And then they thank the fans. The reception was exceeding their expectations, breaking multiple Ubisoft records.
Man, really?
People continue to show phenomenal support with the future games, and then they brought out the highly anticipated Division 2, making it one of the most successful games in 2019, and its 2020 expansion, The Division 2 Warlords of New York, the most active in the game's history, which is also crazy to think about because I never even played it.
Yeah.
There's an incredible community of over 40 million players, setting the franchise on an expanding trajectory that now includes more games and more transmedia content set within the universe than they're now unveiling today. So they're going to keep working on Division 2, but they're expanding the universe to include even more players. They are now pleased to share that the next game is going to be Tom Clancy's The Division Heartland, a free-to-play game in the Division universe developed by the Red Storm studio. This team has worked on Tom Clancy games since 1997, so they have a lot of experience within it, and they're a perfect fit for this project. This is a standalone game that doesn't require any previous experience with the series and will provide a brand new perspective on the universe in a new setting. It'll be available in 2021 to 2022 on PC, consoles, and the cloud. Now, that's not the only thing they're working on. They're also working on bringing the Division to, you guessed it, mobile platforms. What? I know, Austin's excited.
I'm so excited.
So they're going to bring it to even a wider audience. They'll have more details on that in a later date. So they're still going to bring brand new content to Division 2, development led by Ubisoft Massive and Ubisoft Bucharest, but they're not going to reveal those details yet. They also have a film in development with Netflix, thanks to Ubisoft Film and Television, that'll feature Jessica Chastain and Jake Gyllenhaal. So
that'd be interesting.
Yeah,
I'd see that. I like Jake Gyllenhaal.
I do too. He's pretty good.
Yeah.
So looking at their Division universe here, they have the Division 2, the Warlords of New York. The next thing to come out in the content release is the Division Heartland. And then there's going to be new content for the Division 2 coming out sometime after that. And then after that will be the Division mobile game, and then the Division novel, and then the Division and Netflix film. So they're basically MCUing the shit out of the Division right now. And that's what we're getting.
Well, see, I don't understand that because I don't hear anybody. I might not be in the right circles. That's fine too. I'm sure there's people obsessed with this game, but I feel like they say this for every game. I mean, I guess they wouldn't be doing it if
it does.
If it wasn't making money, but I just don't see it. I don't see it anywhere. It's not like Star Wars, which obviously is way bigger, and Marvel, which is way bigger. Like Halo still has a fan base. Like WoW still has a fan base. I hear the talkings of WoW all the time.
Yeah.
Like why don't I hear talkings of the Division? I don't. That's why I'm like, how are they doing this?
No, I agree because I'm like I don't see people playing this game near as much as like all the other games that are out there. I mean, there's a lot of huge franchises that exist, but like Valorant's still huge, Overwatch is still huge. Those kinds of games I hear about a lot. Rainbow Six Siege is huge, but I don't hear a lot on people jumping into the Division all the time.
Right.
Like I'm looking at Steam charts or Twitch right now, and it's not even listed here in the top like list of stuff like being streamed. So nobody's like really streaming it per se.
Exactly.
Like I don't see it anywhere. So, but apparently there's a lot of people playing it. I'm just like trying to figure out like it's just so crazy to me how much they're expanding this universe for. In comparison to like Rainbow Six Siege. Or even Splinter Cell, which is huge. They never did that.
Right.
That was Splinter Cell. Like I want Splinter Cell to do that.
I know. I understand.
So
I mean, if it's anything like Bethesda, like they started doing a bunch of microtransactions and things like that because they were trying to round out their portfolio to be like, hey, look at us. We have all this stuff. Buy us out. Obviously, Ubisoft's different. It's a different situation. Like they don't need to be bought out. They're fine. But I just find it interesting that they're continually growing on this. Like, and every time something comes up, I'm like not impressed by what they have. So, like, Division was good. It was, and I enjoyed it. It's fine, but it's not anywhere where it should be to be such a craze that it warrants all this media.
Yeah,
because they had like little action films that came out too, little action clips that came out for Division 1, directed by some people off YouTube. And I don't know. I just feel like it's too campy for what this game should be. And obviously, the game and the gameplay and the story are just so video game-ish. Like it doesn't push the envelope anyway to make this like revolutionary for gaming. Like there's nothing. It's like a serious tone, but not really that serious. If that makes sense. There are serious moments for sure, but it's just so like.
It's super serious, but I feel like it's not something that's like incredibly deep and original in a lot of ways. Like I feel like there's a lot of really cool surface level content going on throughout the Division universe. But even like compare it, like looking at Ghost Recon Breakpoint, which I didn't think had a great story, I feel like that felt like a deeper world and set of lore than this one has. I mean, this one is like kind of I can't remember exactly the how the storyline kind of broke out, but it's like there's a virus right inside of where the new location. Where was it set at? The previous one was Washington, or is this one Washington? This one was Washington. The previous one was New York, right? Or is it the other way around?
Yeah. You're right.
And then you go back to New York with the warlords of New York.
Yeah.
Okay. So like this one set in Washington was really cool. Like I like that setting and like the location that they put you in, but like I honestly can't tell you going back to the beginning of the Division like what the setup was, other than I know there's a virus and there was shit that went down. But I can tell you what happened with like Ghost Recon Breakpoint. Even though that wasn't a great story, I can tell you like what the deal was with that. Like there was a crazy dude from John Bernthal who is like freaking army guy who takes over and is building these has this drone army that he's using. They were building drones to do like good things, and then he turns them into a force of like basically a robotic army. And now you have to stop him because he's going to unleash these on the world and shit's going to hit the fan. But I can't tell you what the Division was.
I mean, I can.
Okay. What was the Division? Like, I'm curious. Like, what? Like,
so basically,
Cliff Notes. What's the story of the Division 2 specifically?
On Black Friday, this guy
Division 2 because isn't the Division 1 Black Friday?
Yeah, but Division 1's Black Friday. I thought you meant like overall.
No, I mean like the second one. What was the second one story?
I see. Yeah, it's basically a continuation of Division 2, but you're going to, Division 1, but you're going to what do you call it? Washington to set up bring back the government.
Okay. So the first one was there was like a virus released on Black Friday that killed a bunch of people. Did it kill people? It killed people, right?
Yeah, it killed a lot of people.
Killed everybody. And then you're like the last people that are left, and you're set up to I guess stop whoever's left or whatever from whatever.
There's like factions that have formed in these areas that you have to help people out, and it's basically like chaos has happened.
Yeah. I don't know. I wish the story was like a lot deeper because I like the game, especially after having played Outriders. Like I like to go back to the Division just because it's like has that cover shooter mentality. And I mean, definitely the Division is like the same kind of deal where you just like walk into an area, and you start blowing up a bunch of bad guys, and you walk in the next area and start blowing up more bad guys, and then the loot system and all that stuff was, I remember I didn't like the UI, the user interface, which I think was a turn off for me, but I still want this game to be really good. But I feel like the story, it's just shocking to me how it never,
How bland.
how bland it was, and it's getting so much love.
I know. It makes no sense, man. It makes no sense.
It's very weird. But recently, the reason why we brought this up is that the Heartland had some footage leak online of what it is. And it was, of course, quickly taken down. But it's really interesting because in the footage that is no longer available, it shows a little bit of information about what the game was about. And there's a little introduction from the lead game designer talking about players giving their feedback, et cetera, et cetera. And ultimately what it looks like they're setting it up for is there is a couple of things that were noted in the video that, again, is no longer available. But it's in a little small area called Silver Creek, and it's not like this big massive world like it was before. So it's Heartland, it's like in like more rural areas of the world instead. And there's two game modes. One is called Expedition, that's co-op PvE, and there's another game mode that unlocks later called Storm, that's PvPvE. And they said there's like looting mechanics, there's leveling systems, there's contamination zones within the map and the world where it seems like there's areas that have like high levels of contamination they have to like avoid in whatever way. And then the PvPvE is 45 player count. And as I was listening to them describe it all, I was like, this PvPvE component sounds an awful lot like Scavengers, which of course is like iterated from a bunch of other games. So I'm curious if obviously they didn't copy them because like Scavengers was in development, and I'm sure this has been in development for a long time too. But I'm curious, like, it's just funny how they're coming around at the same time, and they're very similar types of games that are just taking ideas from a lot of other games they're kind of putting all together. But I mean, it looked cool. I mean, it looks like a Division shooter with leveling, and I mean the guns and stuff, and the gameplay seemed to be pretty action packed. There was like a video that was on Twitter that somebody had posted that they pulled out of the leak footage and stuff like that. But I just don't know like how I feel about them going, because I mean they tried free to play with Hyperscape, getting the battle royale world, and we've quickly forgotten about that game.
Yeah.
So I'm just curious to see, is this the right play for them? Like, should they have kept working on Division 2 and just expand, which they are still working on Division 2, and this is separate, but I don't know how this separate piece, this is kind of like doing what Call of Duty did, where they're like, okay, we have Call of Duty games, and then we're going to split out and do like a free-to-play version that we're going to constantly iterate on, but then keep this other one going this direction.
Right.
But then that kind of, it's like now, I feel like less people are going to buy like Black Ops and all future Call of Duty titles because Warzone's the free stuff that gives you a lot of content. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't know either. I mean, it could be good. I mean, it's probably gonna be more Division, more focus, so that could mean a lot. But I mean, they're probably making their Apex Legends or whatever, so they can have the battle pass and you rank up, or they're doing their Call of Duty Warzone type thing, most likely. Which it might be fun for a little while. I mean, if it's more focused, that's great.
It's just like, for me, it goes back to like, they tried that with Hyperscape. Why are they trying it again?
Yeah, I don't know.
But I mean, maybe but then again, here they are. They made the Division after they had already brought out Ghost Recon Wildlands, which are basically the same kind of game. It's just one is more grounded, the other one's more open, like world kind of stuff.
Right.
So maybe they're just trying to cover all their bases and have more, like, just a little bit of a change in variety. And since Hyperscape didn't do well, maybe they were like, well, let's go a little bit further and use an existing IP that we already have and build that out into some form of battle royale.
Yeah.
But
I don't know.
This could be cool though. I mean,
I'm not putting it past them. I think it could be cool.
Being more looter shooter style. And then just like the idea of the Heartland, like that, Having an area. I mean, it kind of reminds me of Far Cry, the recent Far Cry that came out. You know, that was set in Montana. Kind of reminds me of that. It's like, hey, let's take them to this small town, rural area to fight through and stuff like that. So I'm curious to know what their goal is going to be with this, where they're going to take it. And it could be what Dread Pixie was kind of wanting and looking for, because they were talking about, and we even have Silent Snipe in our Discord who's talking about get back in the Division 2 as well. So there's people that are playing the Division, interested in Division, but if it's just co-op, it may turn people off. But if you have this PvP component to it, I'm curious though how different. Did you play much of the what's it called, the Dead Zone, Drop Zone, whatever the heck it is?
Yeah, it's the Dead Zone. We played a little bit. I mean, it was an interesting take on PvP.
And it's just PvP, right? There's no environmental anything.
Yeah.
Happening.
Yeah, so the point is like you go, you find like this gear and you got to extract it. And you don't know exactly what kind of gear it is, but you have a good like hint of it at it. I think it's either by the color of the case or canister or something. Anyway, it has to be extracted to be cleansed so you can get the gun. And during this time, like you have to wait for a helicopter to come in, and the whole point was it creates like areas for people to battle it out, because you don't technically need to get the gear. You can just wait for someone to bring the gear to a drop zone and then just attack them and take it from them.
Kind of like in Scavengers. Now.
Yeah. So I think it could make for some interesting gameplay. We'll just have to see.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So
we're gonna play Division 2 now?
Yeah.
Starting over.
I mean, I'd be interested to check out the story and see what it's all about and dive deep into it. Or
you didn't like the story last time you tried it. I mean, it really wasn't about the story. It's about just kind of having fun. And I know you'd mentioned that it's just too repetitive, and it does get repetitive. That's the thing. Like the story should be driving what's happening and why you want to continue forward in the game, and it's kind of bland after a while. I mean, it's just too like over the top.
Yeah,
because like some of the stuff isn't realistic, and I mean that's a video game.
I guess that is kind of what it was, because I remember it was like Ghost Recon or Breakpoint. It was very repetitive, but there was a lot of diversity in the environment that you can go and explore, and there was different biomes and things like that. But in Division, it's like just different types of buildings and stuff like that, which is cool when you're going to a place that you recognize, like the Smithsonian and shit like that. But when it's just like another building, bombed out building that's like falling apart, it can be a little stale. But
yeah. And then eventually, the higher level you get, the more these bigger boss dudes become bullet sponges.
Mm-hmm.
Which I'm okay with. That's never been an issue for me. I know people hate that, but I'm okay with it.
Yeah, I'm starting to feel a little bit in Outriders. I'm like, oh god, these people just like take every single bullet I throw at them. I'm like, why won't they just die?
Right.
But then obviously I just need to level up and get better, and then I can take them down a lot faster and easier. But it is kind of, it's not realistic in any way. But
yeah.
Now the Warlords game mode, that was just like going up. It was
a new area.
It was kind of like
you go back to New York.
You go back to New York, but the hook of it was climbing floors of things, right? Or was that that was a later mode that came out?
It changed the game drastically, because the loot score system was a certain way, and then once if you were like at the top level, which was like 40 or something, I don't know, I can't remember, but I was decent close. It allowed you to transition to the new game mode, and all the gear score would change with you, and it was supposed to be like a little more streamlined and stuff like that. So change the game forever.
Forever.
Which, by the time I got to play that DLC, like I didn't remember like anything, and there was so much reading. I was like, I ain't about this life. I'm gonna play this game, just get new gear as I go. But I mean, the Division's cool. Like they have such a huge area, a huge map that you can go around and stuff, and there's little like events that happen and little skirmishes you can jump into. But yeah, I think they're trying to follow that Master Chief thing where you really don't have a face or a voice. I mean, you have a face, but your voice is like non-existent. So it's more of like, I wish they would do the Mass Effect thing where it's like, here's the main character, here's his voice, you get to make him what he looks like. Now you can go forward and like here's a story, and that was very compelling.
Yeah. The Summit, that's what I was thinking of. That was a game mode that they added. Ton of story building where each floor was new challenges.
Oh, interesting.
It was kind of like what was it called? The Hives in Marvel's Avengers.
Okay.
Except 100 floors instead of
right.
16.
Yeah.
Sounds insane.
So I wonder if they'll keep the same classes from Division 2. Put it in there.
That's a good question. Yeah, I wonder how much it's going to be like. Let's just take what's already there and just like put it in a different game mode, and how much it's going to be like, let's just rethink these whole systems or simplify it. Maybe they're going to dumb it down a little bit, like where it's less of a, because I don't know if it's going to be, I feel like it could be one of those things where it's not like a persistent, like you're not leveling up a character. Because I feel like in a PvP, VE kind of game, you don't want to have a character that's consistently leveling up because eventually people are going to get ahead of other players. So it might be something where you can unlock like new cosmetics and things of that nature, but really it's more you're unlocking stuff within that game round.
Yeah.
And that's it.
Well, it might be like Call of Duty where you start unlocking weapons.
Yeah.
Having loadout drops.
Yeah, could be. I don't know. Man.
I know. It's like how do you do that? Well, maybe it's like you got to collect some weapons and then take it to an area where you can like cleanse it, kind of like Dead Zone, and then you can equip those weapons in the game.
Yeah.
But it's like, defend the area, or like people know. So.
But it'd be. Would you keep that weapon? Like
you'd keep that weapon
after the round was over and stuff like that.
Oh no, I don't know about that. See, that changes everything because the whole point of Dead Zone was to get really badass weapons and then come into the main game with it.
Mm-hmm.
And you can take it back into Dead Zone.
Yeah.
Wipe some people up. So
right.
Yeah. And it had the Destiny problem. It was just like too many mods and stuff. Like, because, every gun has certain things and you can equip certain stuff with it, if I can remember.
Right.
It's been a long time. And it like changes stuff up. And so it's like, what's the best one? What's the best random roll or whatever?
Yeah.
And get a little complicated, which I don't know why it does that.
No, I don't want to play it anymore.
Damn it, I should have shut up a long time ago.
Oh gosh, there's just so many. I just want a simple game.
I know.
With simple multiplayer loops that just are really fun and addicting.
Halo,
but not Halo. but a little bit more. But not as much.
Well, I mean, if you start the Division early off, I mean, like if you play the whole game, like it all comes clear to you as you progress. Right. Yeah. It just sucks when you fall off and come back. You're like, okay, what do I have? What did I keep? Why did I keep this?
Right.
Is it even worth it? Now I'm just scrap everything because you can scrap stuff.
Yeah.
It's complicated.
We should just jump back into Godfall.
Screw you, man.
Yeah, no, y'all already got rid of your games anyway, so
yeah.
I'm the idiot that bought it digital, so there you have it, folks.
There you have it.
The Division's going free to play. Are you excited? Are you looking forward to it? Let us know. If you're not in our Discord channel yet, you can check out that link in the show notes and join our Discord channel and join in that conversation to talk about this and much more. And as always, if you want to give us a discussion topic to talk about next week, please send us a message on our Discord channel or checking us out via hello@theendgamer.net and shoot us an email and we will gladly talk about it.